Welcome back to another episode of Gridiron Guys. I'm your host, Luke, with my two co-hosts, Big Jim and Brad. East Coast
Howdy,
Brad.
Yeah, hey everybody.
We're here to talk about championship weekend in college football, our predictions on who's going to make the college football playoff, and week 13 of the NFL slate. If you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you never miss any of our content. But let's get into it. All right. First, we are going to go to the Pac-12 Championship, Oregon versus Washington in Las Vegas. Oregon is favored by 11, over under 65.5. This is a rematch from earlier in the season, like midway through the season. Washington won by 3. Penix had a pretty good game. Bo Nix, I think that was one of his worst games. But both teams are, Oregon's more on a tear than Washington is. Washington has struggled the last couple of weeks. Jim, what's your take?
Yeah, like you said, Oregon has looked really damn good the last couple of weeks, and Washington has won their games, but they have struggled. Kind of expected that struggling to happen in the Apple Cup between Wazoo and everything, just because it's a heated rivalry, well-played game and everything. Should be an exciting game. It's a rematch from earlier in the season, and should be a great game to watch and enjoy, you know?
Yep,
Bradley?
Yeah, it was one of the best games of the year, pretty much. It was an awesome game earlier in the season. It was right down to the end. I'm intrigued to see how this matchup plays out with Washington being such a huge favorite. I mean, you have them Oregon being such a huge favorite. You have them -11 on your book. I have them -9.5 out here. That number feels massive for a game that was super close. And even though Washington hasn't played super well enough their potential, whether it's Penix being a little hurt or they just kind of getting figured out a little bit, they're still keeping games close, games they shouldn't be, but they're winning close games, which says something about their just ability to go out there and finish off a game.
Yep, agreed.
I do tend to lean Oregon. I do have a pick on this game, so I won't talk it, but leaning Oregon in the game overall, solely because if you looked at the last game, they basically got beat on fourth downs. They had terrible fourth down.
Yeah.
I think they were 0 for 4, 0 for 3, compared to Washington, which I think converted all of their fourth downs. And that kind of was the deciding factor, really, if you look at it, where they lost. Like, they lost 2 of their fourth downs inside, like, the 20 or the 35. Like, it was in Washington territory. So I think that's going to be a key factor in that, maybe that fourth down luck flips. And we could see a different outcome overall. But do a pick on this guy, so we won't get too deep.
I also have a pick on this game. I mean, I think all of our picks.
I think all of us. I think we might have picks.
I think every single game.
Every single game.
Yeah, they're going to be from the conference.
Yeah. We can ignore that conference.
Yeah.
We can just talk.
Yeah, I think the -11 that I have is massive.
Yeah, that's huge.
That seems like a lot of points. Granted, like, Oregon's humming right now. A lot is on stake. A lot is at stake for both teams. Playoff berth, Heisman Trophy as well. But I mean, who knows? Jaden Daniels might have played himself into it. Kirk Herbstreit said on part of my take that he would vote for Jaden Daniels, which makes sense. The guy's playing out of his mind stats wise.
Honestly, it could go to all 3 of them guys.
Yeah.
And it'd be the right decision, no matter what.
Yeah,
I almost wonder if you like Oregon in this game, you just take Bo Nix as a Heisman Trophy winner. I think he's like -150 right now. Like, that's a way better number than the money line on Oregon. You just take Bo Nix. And you think if Oregon wins this, they go into the playoff, and he maybe wins the Heisman. Like, that's like a better bet.
I mean, I feel like that is a better bet, to be honest with you. But obviously, either team could make it into the playoff.
Yeah.
A lot of playoff implications here. But moving on from Friday, we head down to good old Dallas, Texas. We've got the Big 12 championship between Oklahoma State and Texas. Texas is favored by 15.5. Over-under is 54.5. Again, why the hell is this line so big? Granted, Oklahoma State struggled earlier in the year, but has been playing really good ball on both sides of the ball. Quentin Ewers, I think he's going to play. Or is it?
No, he's playing.
Will be there.
Okay, that might be why. But I really don't have a read on this game, to be honest with you. 15.5 seems like a lot. And Oklahoma State played in the Big 12 championship 2 years ago when they nearly lost.
Yeah.
like Mike Gundy gets these guys up for these types of games, so I think it might be closer than that. But that's pretty much all I got for the Big 12 championship, Nate.
Yeah, this is going to be a heated game. Like, this is kind of going under the radar, and the people that are Big 12 fans and that follow it are really gonna be watching this game. Only because Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy, has won 12 Coach of the Year this year over Steve Sarkisian, who went 11-1 with Texas. I think there's some little pettiness from the Big 12 Mish and the voting committee and everything that Texas is leaving. This is one last shot at Texas. We're not giving you the Coach of the Year on your last year here. And I think Oklahoma State they've already beat the Sooners. You know, that was a win for them because they were leaving. They were like, oh, we're gonna beat you for the last bedlam ever. And does Oklahoma State have that same mentality going into this game, playing Texas, saying we're gonna win the last Big 12 game forever until it changes? It's going to be an exciting game. I think there's going to be some bad blood in this game, but with that being said, I do have a pick on this game. I am leaning towards Texas pretty heavy right now. Bradley?
Yeah, the line may be huge, but I'm really liking Texas in this matchup. I think Texas' offense is absolutely stellar and just keeps getting better. They pretty much dominate compared to Oklahoma State's defense. And then Texas's defense has become pretty underrated, and it matches up better than Oklahoma State's offense. They really do kind of outdo them in yards per game, rushing attempts, all that kind of stuff. They shut it down. That Texas defense has started to churn the past couple of weeks and really look like a solid team. I mean, 7 points last week, 16 the week before, 26. Like they're not giving up too many points. And I think they get a little chip on their shoulder from not winning Coach of the Year. They know too they have to basically put up points, right? Like if they're going to get into the playoffs, they got to go out there and light it up. It's going to be a great matchup.
And they need a lot to happen.
Yeah.
They need a lot to happen. And this next game could give them the opportunity to go into the to get into the playoff. Yep. We've got the SEC championship, number 1 Georgia versus number 7 Alabama. Georgia's favored by 5.5. Over/unders 54.5. Bama's finding ways to win, man, and I think that's dangerous. Good. And that's dangerous and scary. If I'm Georgia, I'm not liking 5.5. I'm not liking 5.5 at all. Y'all, they haven't played. Okay, I can't say they haven't played good competition because Missouri is a top 10 team, and Ole Miss is a top 15 team, and they handled their business. But neither of those teams are Alabama. Neither of those teams are being coached by Nick Saban. Nick Saban has Georgia's number, and I think that might be the case here. And I mean, if Alabama wins, that opens the floodgates. That opens up the scenarios of, okay, if Alabama beats Georgia, does Georgia deserve to be in? Yes, they've only had one loss. And then you have so Michigan, let's say Michigan loses to Iowa, that automatically kicks them out. Are we going to get two SEC teams in it? What if Florida State loses? See, it's like this game is the pivotal. See, if Texas has to win no matter what. If Alabama beats Georgia, then you got to look at head-to-head strength of schedule. Like Alabama just beat the number 1 team in the country, but Texas beat Alabama at home. On the road, I mean. And it's like, and this is where I would hate to be a committee member when it comes down to this last weekend, and there's a lot of stuff that could happen. I don't know, but I think Alabama might shake things up. I like the way they're playing. They're finding ways to win. Georgia really hasn't. They've had a little bit of adversity, but nothing like Alabama has played this year. Like Alabama has had one bad loss, and they've had to build themselves out of these holes that they create themselves into. So I mean, I don't know. 54.5 is a lot of points, but then again, it could be a 3. Both offenses can hum what they want, but then again, those defenses are also pretty good too. So, Jim?
Yeah, this is a game I'm going to stay completely away from the betting books because I have no idea who's going to win this game. If I literally had a gun to my head, pick a team, I got to pick Georgia. I mean, Georgia's top dog, Kirby Smart, he's gamer right now. He has all the cards in his hand. But everything Bama's been doing the last couple of games is just astounding. And like, okay, this is the Bama team from the past. Like, they're dominating teams. Yeah, the last game of the season, they didn't have a good outing against Auburn and struggled with Auburn. That's the rivalry game, man. That's what happens. Like, you play your arch rival, it's a hell of a ball game. It's a hell of a ball game. But if, like I said, I'm staying away from the betting books. This is not one of my top picks this week. Going to be a hell of a game. Sit back and enjoy it, boys. Bradley.
Yeah, this Alabama team's really turned around the second half of the year. Miller kind of figured out how to play quarterback in that system.
Yes.
They're still, and they started running him more, even though they say he didn't like running, but you're like a freak of nature athlete and you run like a sub 4.5 at that size you need to run. So they figure out how to properly run him. He's really figured out the offense. And Georgia is their, dominant team, but they're not dominant against the spread. So you look at it from a gambling perspective, they're 4-6. The last 10.
They're not very
good at it. But they also, from you watch them play, they do definitely take their foot off the gas in the second half of most of these games when they know they've won. They don't try to push it. They don't want guys getting hurt. They know what the end goal is. So I don't know how deceiving that number really is, because you look at when the games were close or when they were up big, they just coasted. They already were up that much. It didn't really matter. It's a tough one to go on the spread or anything like that. I wouldn't feel comfortable, but I could, if I had to kind of think about where this game ends up, it's similar to last year's matchup, which was 33-18 Georgia. If Georgia wins, I think that's where it looks, right? I don't think it's going to feel close, and then they're going to score like twice in the fourth quarter, and it's going to be out of reach. So it's going to be a little bit of a slower grind. It's going to be close, and then Georgia pulls away at the end. But I do just think they're a better football team. I don't think Alabama's as complete as it is. It's not a normal Alabama defense, and it's a good Georgia offense that hasn't really shown itself. And it's a great Georgia defense.
And Carson Beck's been like slinging it lately.
Yeah,
he's
you see what he needs
living
to
up
be
to the hype.
Yeah, like when he's in a spot, he needs to be good. He's good, and then he just coasts. That's kind of the whole MO of the team. It's like we're gonna get up by 21, and then just whatever, check out. So.
For sure. Next game, and I think the most obvious one here is Michigan versus Iowa. Michigan's favored by 22, over-under 33.5. This could go one of two ways. Michigan could come out, absolutely destroy Iowa, and nobody would bat an eye. Or
2 years ago, it was like 44-3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or Iowa's defense shows up like it has been all year for them, and they force Michigan to play a game that they're not used to playing. The one advantage for Iowa is that their defense has only given up 2 rushing touchdowns all year. And that's exactly what Michigan loves to do, is ground and pound the football. I think that's going to have to change if Michigan wants to win by 3 or 4 touchdowns. They're going to have J.J. McCarthy throw the ball, because I think Iowa has, and I hate it. Like, it makes, I just want to gag for giving Iowa like any credit whatsoever. But that defense is pretty good. But let's be honest, they haven't faced an offense like Michigan's all year, except for maybe Penn State, and even Penn State doesn't even live up to Michigan.
Penn State sucks, dude.
Yeah, it's I think this might be the boring game to end the night, to be honest. You never know. Iowa's played well in 2014 against Michigan State, who ended up going to the first or second college football playoff. And you never know, man. You never know. But obviously I'm going to probably lean towards Michigan. Jim.
Yeah, this is going to be a Michigan Wolverines dub. They're going to finish out the season undefeated and head to the college football playoff, either at the 1 spot or a 2 spot. The play on this game, in my opinion, is Lucas's favorite play. Does it hit the under? I believe it does. I believe there is not an exceeding amount of points in this game. I think it is handled by Michigan, but it hits the under. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that and crying Ferentz fucking Hawkeyes. Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, this is definitely the stinker of the group. Right. Well,
yeah.
The next game might be too because of injuries, but this is definitely a stinker. Yeah. I don't think Deacon Hill has it in him to keep up with like Michigan's offense. Like
it's like Big Ben 2.0.
Like 300-pound quarterback. It's insane. He looks like he should be playing tackle. I don't understand how he even moves. Yeah. It's insane. But like he's not going to be able to hang. This Michigan State, they're banged up. They're riding high off of last week. They know what they have to do and get in there and get out. Their head-to-head matchups. You look at the past couple. I mean, the last one was close, but like it's 42-3 the year before. Like they're just gonna, I think, go out there and dominate this Iowa team. I know Iowa's defense is quote unquote great, but the teams they played are bad. And you look at maybe a good offense, comparatively speaking, was Penn State. And Penn State beat them 31-0. Like that, if that was the end of this game, would anyone be shocked? Like,
no.
No.
And to the final game and the ACC championship, Louisville versus Florida State. Florida State's -2.5. Over/under is 47.5. I really don't this game. I think Florida State probably has a chance of losing this game pretty easily. Louisville with Jeff Brom, they're playing well on offense. They're dynamic as hell. So this might be the opportunity that Texas needs to get into the college football playoff for sure. Yep.
Yeah. The only reason why I'm like talking about this game is because I like Jeff Brom as a football coach. So it's going to be like the Brom Bowl because Jeff Brom's head coach and his brother's the OC here at Louisville, and they're going to win. They're going to win one for the Ville. Sorry, Coach Papuchis, the special teams coordinator at Florida State, the old Nebraska DC Luke. Little throwback.
Oh yeah, that's
there.
right.
Yeah, sucks for Florida State though, man. They ran the table. If they win this game, personally, they deserve to be in. They ran the table. I know it sucks, and yeah, they're a worse team without Jordan Travis. But dude, what more can you do? But if they lose this game, they drop dramatically. They probably still get a New Year's Six bowl, but it sucks for Florida State. I just think Louisville's riding good. I think Jeff's ready to win that championship, and let's go Cards. What do they do like that? Yeah,
something like that.
Oh Jesus, Brad.
Yeah, it just sucks, right? Jordan Travis is gone. That's just such a disappointment. Like no one's really excited to see Rodemaker play quarterback. I still it's tough to like go on Louisville here solely because that like Florida's defense is really good, right? And that defensive line is gonna all play in the NFL. They're not all gonna be first rounders or anything, but they're all probably gonna get roster spots. They're a really good D line. They're a really good defensive team overall. Good corners. Louisville's offense is solid, but it's gonna be a tough matchup. It just this should be probably a better game than it's lived up to being. That spread number keeps dropping. It's -1.5 now to Florida State. I'm assuming Louisville money's coming in on the money line. If you're taking Louisville, just take the money line because they're probably going to end up winning this game. I think I also, you talk about fixes. The fixes in the NCAA definitely does not want a Florida State team with no Jordan Travis in the playoff.
Yeah, unfortunately,
they're definitely not fixing the game. But like, if we see a couple calls go the other way, everyone's gonna be like,
yeah,
okay, well, it's probably a smart move, but it sucks. But yeah, you just don't want to see this Florida State team go on because you want to see the better teams. Like, you'd much rather even have Oregon and Washington than Florida State. Like, it's just.
Yeah, which opens up the scenarios here. I mean, I think the scenario that is most likely going to happen is that I think Georgia and Michigan both win. I think Florida State loses. And I think that however that game on tomorrow night happens, if it's close, I think the loser of that gets in as well. I think we could see
tomorrow.
I think we could see. I think we could see Washington and Oregon both make the playoff over Texas. And the reason why I say that is because the Pac-12 has been so good this year.
Yeah.
And Texas has one good win against Alabama. And if Alabama gets beat by Georgia, then that kind of just like defeats the whole purpose of having Texas in. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think the most likely scenario is that we get two Pac-12 teams in the playoff. Which, if you're the Pac-12, you're pretty happy with at the end of the year.
So what happens? Who's your top four at the end of the conference championships?
Yeah, we want to get
your predictions.
Yeah, what are your predictions?
You kind of opened it up.
I'll give you some odds on this as well, because one of my Degen corner picks is playoffs. So
Okay.
I'll give it early.
Honestly, I think it's gonna be Michigan at 1, Georgia at 2, Washington at 3, and Texas at 4.
It's plus 800 right now.
I think Alabama has a chance to pull it off, but it's
In
not
that
going to
order?
be.
In that order, Bryce?
There's no orders on the FanDuel lines. It is just straight. It is just straight up what 4 make it.
Okay.
I think they're kind of. It looks like to me if Georgia wins, like they're just kind of saying like Georgia's won the way the line looks, but like they're not actually ranking it.
Yeah.
It's just
because that
you could do an exacta. What was your exacta again? That was Georgia, Michigan, Washington.
Michigan, Georgia,
Jesus.
Washington, Texas.
That's probably
this is a huge line.
There's no way. There's no way if Georgia and Michigan both win, they're moving those two.
Yeah,
no. I'm saying Alabama will beat Georgia in the SEC championship, and that moves Michigan to 1. Georgia, they're not going to penalize for losing to Alabama in the SEC championship with their only loss. They're going to stay in. They'll move them to 2. Washington will be 3 because I think Washington will probably win. I don't know. Washington.
There's not even a line on that one.
Washington, and then with Alabama beating Georgia, that's going to be the one up on that. But I could also see them putting into either have Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Oregon in. I think those are the 4 best teams, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Oregon is. Let's see if I can get you that number.
Is that your pick? We're going with Texas in there.
I'm gonna go. I think I've talked myself into the other one. I think the 2 Pac-12
Washington
teams
and
makes
Oregon?
more sense. Yeah.
So you say Oregon's going to beat Washington because
I think. Well,
Oregon's not going to get in with 2 losses, dude.
No, yeah, I don't think.
I hate to break your heart.
There's not even a line on that. They're just going to be like, they have 2 losses, they're out.
Yeah,
okay.
they're
over like
2 losses.
Potential.
2 losses for sure eliminates a team this year.
Yeah, they would put a 2-loss Bama in.
Okay, then Oregon beats Washington, but Washington it all depends on how the game goes. If it's another 3-score, not a 3-score, but a 3-point game, it's hard to say. Like, you're really gonna throw in Texas, and what if Texas doesn't play very well against Oklahoma State? You also have to put that into that situation. So
but if Texas still won, you gotta put them in if the opportunity presented itself.
But why?
You can't penalize a team because they won.
But you can't penalize a team for losing. If Washington loses that one game, its resume is a lot better than Texas's.
But it's not like Washington lost to Georgia by 3. I mean, they lost to a 5th-ranked Oregon, not a number 1. If they took Georgia to the line like 2-0, and Georgia kicked the field goal to win it, then I could see your argument. But it's Oregon, a top 5. Yes, a top 5 team. I'm not going to slam Oregon here, but like you got to look at it like the committee's looking at it.
Well, and they're also looking at strength of schedule as well.
To me too.
And I think there's still I think they're still biased where like the SEC is stronger than the Pac-12. Yeah, the Pac-12 has literally leaped over a bunch of conferences this year and proved that they were a strong conference this year. But you put like Pac-12 up against the SEC, be a great battle. And I'm not going to give you any predictions, but I still think like the basketball, where basketball does SEC versus Big Ten Challenge, you know, and they like mix match the teams. I think SEC wins that battle. You know, it's who's going to win between Arizona State and fucking Vandy, you know, like an area like that.
Okay.
But anyway, I liked your original top 4. This is mine in order. I got Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Oregon 3, Texas 4. I really think you're going to see the conference championships actually matter this year for maybe like the second time we've ever had the playoffs where like you have 4 of the conference championships or 4 of the conference champions actually make it and get in. You know what I mean? So I like the way. The only reason why is because I think Texas is very lethal right now. Quinn Ewers, when healthy, has Texas top 5 easy. They dropped that Oklahoma game, just a rivalry game and everything. props to Oklahoma. They played their ass off in that game. But Texas has that win against Bama. That's a huge boost in their opinion. If they didn't have that win against Bama and they had, like, say, the role was reversed, they beat Oklahoma but lost to Alabama, I'm not having this conversation right now. You know what I mean? That Alabama win's huge. I think Oregon beats Washington and ruins Washington's chances of getting in. And Oregon gets in at that 3 seed, but I'm not against Texas and Oregon flip-flopping in that situation, but I just went because Oregon's ranked higher right now and put them at that 3 seed to face Michigan. But if I was a biased fan and wanted to see a matchup, I want to see Michigan versus Texas really bad. Really bad.
Yeah, because
I feel like
they'll be playing.
I feel like that'd be an awesome game.
That'd be such a good game.
They'll be playing next year.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the big
Yeah,
house. So.
it will be, won't it? Michigan's got some shit.
Awesome game.
Awesome. All right, so Brad, go ahead.
Yes, that I have the same exact four as you: Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, Texas. It's a plus 270. That was a Degen pick of the week. Is plus 270 for all of them to go in. You have them in order. It's plus 1 or plus 410. But yeah, I think that's great. That's I don't see any way that any other team sneaks in there if Oregon and Texas wins. If Georgia wins and Michigan wins, they're auto in. Even if they lose, they still might be in. And then Oregon is just a massive favorite. I think they're going to win close, and then Texas should win big. And Texas, they both those teams know that. They know that they're playing for their life. I think they're going to push over the edge. Now, granted, the favorite right now is to go Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, Florida State is the favorite.
Really?
So they're still saying, they're saying, hey, Florida State wins. Still, Vegas is thinking they're still alive. So that's the ringer. It's basically a undefeated Florida that's champion, or a one-loss Texas team that's champion. And wonder how much too is like this is the last year of the 14 playoff, right? Like next year's gonna be 12.
Dude, 12.
Like, you wonder how much
much
right?
fun.
Yeah.
But like you're kind of wondering, like they're like, hey, how are we gonna reward these teams properly when conferences change, all that jazz? And it's like this is the last time the conference championship could actually matter.
Right.
Brad, in 2024, summer 2024, we're gonna start an online dynasty. We're all gonna start it. All right, we're gonna start as coordinators, and then you gotta start as a small program, and you gotta work your way up.
Yep.
And then we'll make content out of it. It'll be so much fun.
I think the only time conference championships will matter is for the top 4, like to get that first bye, and that would probably be it. And like then it's the next 12. So or
but
the next whatever.
Juice out of it, right? Yeah.
But it's the fact that 5 through 7 get home games.
Yeah, that's
a home game.
It'll still be interesting, just not like the juice we have this today.
I think that's so interesting, especially with the SEC bias and having them go up to like, let's say they have to travel to the West Coast or
they got to go up to Wisconsin or something,
Wisconsin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but imagine Wisconsin having to come down to like the Bayou.
But that would be so much fun.
And play like in Lambeau or something.
Oh man, that'd be cool.
Dead grass. That'd be awesome, dude. There's a lot of potential with this. So
there's so much fun
with it. I hope they play with it and make it fun.
Yeah,
I think so too. I think they will. I mean, the NCAA kind of so they'll probably find a way to.
They'll make it terrible.
They'll ruin it.
They'll make it bad. They'll make it bad. All right, time for our picks. This should be pretty easy. Let's start with Oregon, Washington. Brad, what's your pick?
I'm going Washington plus 9.5. That is a huge number for a Washington team that won by 3. I still think it's going to be a close game. I don't think Oregon's going to run away with it, but Oregon does win. But Washington probably covers that number, and I think it comes down to the end. Late field goal, something along those lines to win the game.
Jim?
I'm going to take Oregon money line. I like the way the Ducks are playing. Bo Nix going to solidify his Heisman bid right here. And, give me Oregon Ducks.
I am going to go with Brad here. I have him at plus 11, but I'll take him at plus 9.5. For everything that Brad said, I think this is going to be a tough game, and I actually think that Washington has a chance to win the game. I still am riding high, even with them not playing well. I think they have the better team, in my opinion, but I could also see Oregon winning it, but not very like by a lot. Oklahoma State versus Texas. Brad?
Yeah, I am going to go with the under 55.5. I talked earlier about how I thought Texas was going to score a lot. I do think they're going to score. I just don't think Oregon State's going to score. I think their offense is a little overrated. They run everything through Ollie Gordon, and Texas's rush defense is good. They're going to hold them down. I think it's going to be, if I had to put a number on it, call it 34-10 or something like that. Like not a lot of points going, maybe even 34-17, something around there. It's the under. It's not really competitive, but Texas looks good.
Jim.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Texas the money line. Also, I really think would love to go with Oklahoma State and Gundy riding off in the sunset, getting the last laugh on everything, saying, "Haha, you guys go enjoy your time at the SEC." But I like the way Quinn Ewers is playing and how Steve Sarkisian's gonna go in there with just like a chip on his shoulder, just being pissed off that he didn't get Coach of the Year. Maybe he won't, but I would be. I'd be like, dude, my team's 11-1. You give it to this guy? Come on. So give me Texas money line.
I'm actually gonna go Oklahoma State plus 15.5. I think they're gonna keep it close. I think they've played close games all year and have managed to win games. I am with you guys that Texas is probably gonna win this game, but I don't think they're going to win it by 15.5. So give me Oklahoma State plus 15.5.
So big money's pushing this down too. Like I got the number at 55.5 on the over under, and it's down to 54.5. And
54.5.
Texas is down to 14.5. So that money's moving. I'm glad I got in early.
Yeah, for sure. Next game we've got the SEC championship game, Georgia versus Alabama. Brad, your pick.
Going over 54.5. I think both these offenses are going to get churning. Milroe looks great. As good as Georgia's defense is, Alabama's offense found their rhythm. And we talked about Carson Beck really showing up and starting to become a big-time quarterback. I think they put up a bunch of points. This game ends up being close. I didn't feel comfortable with that 5.5 at all. If you had to look at it, call it somewhere like in that 40 almost points from one team possibly. Upper 40s or lower 40s, upper 30s for one team to kind of take it out. So I'm going to take the over.
For the record books, I got to pick something. So I'm going to go with the over also. I really like Georgia in this game, but I can make the same argument with Alabama. But I'm going to enjoy this game. So give me the over.
Tough one to handicap. I had no feel on that one. I was this is. I don't feel comfortable either way.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go against the grain here. I'm taking Bama. Bama.
You are a Bama fan.
Bama plus 5.5. Dude, I am not a Bama fan.
You're a
retired Bama fan. Retired Bama fan.
Betting on that Nick Saban devil magic. Is that what you're going with?
Dude, I think they keep it close, and I think they might actually win. I think that nobody. They've played. In my opinion, they've played tougher opponents than Georgia has all year, and I think that's going to give them the edge. So give me Bama plus 5.5. Michigan at Iowa, Brad.
I'm going to go with the over 34. I know that
You're
goes
crazy, dude.
Everything
dude,
Luke says. If you want me to give my
dude.
final score predicted on this game, it is 34 points from Michigan and then 3 from Iowa. I think it sneaks right over, but Michigan just dominates them and takes most of the points on the board. Or you know what? We'll switch it up. I'll say Iowa gets pick 6 off of JJ McCarthy. So it's 7-34. That's going to be like the whole entire thing. It's they're going to dominate, and it's going to be like a pick 6 in like the first play of the game. Everyone's going to be like, Iowa. It's not going to be close.
Yeah. Jim.
I'm gonna go with Iowa plus 22. That's all I got. I don't know.
Over under and take a lot of points. That's not a bad move.
Yeah, I don't know why. Just it kind of felt right saying that right now.
I'm going under. I've done it every single game.
Love it.
Stick with what works, bud.
And the final game, Louisville versus Florida State. Florida State minus 2.5. Brad.
Don't have an official pick on this one, but if I had to put money out there, I would probably buy on Louisville. Take a dog.
Nate.
Like I said, I love Jeff Brom. I think he's a hell of a coach. I'd love to see him get his due. So in that case, I'm picking Louisville. But watch out for Florida State's defense. You know, they're very scrappy. Yeah, they don't have their offensive stud at quarterback and everything, but that Versace or whatever you want to call his last name, he's a top 10 pick going into this year's NFL draft. He's a stud. He's a game wrecker. So watch out for Florida State. This is going to be a good game. And I'm excited. But give me the cards. Give me the cards.
Louisville plus 2.5. I think that's easy money. They score in bunches. They've played better opponents than Florida State has all year. So give me Louisville. Brad, your picks.
My picks, we're going Washington plus 9.5. We're going in the Oklahoma State Texas game. We're going under 55.5. Georgia, Alabama, we're going over the 54.5. Michigan versus Iowa, we're going over 34. And then my final pick, which is not in the Louisville Florida State game, is Boise State minus 2.5 versus UNLV. My logic behind that pick is Boise State has really turned around since firing their head coach. They literally had a guy who quit the team come back the day after they fired the coach. And they've been playing lights out since. That UNLV team has a weaker strength schedule, I think, than Boise as well. So I'd like to see Boise pull out a win there and cover.
Jim, your picks.
I have Oregon money line. I have Texas money line. Georgia, Alabama, I have the over. Michigan and Iowa, I have Iowa plus 22. And Louisville, Florida State, I have Louisville money line.
My picks or Washington plus 9.5. Oklahoma State plus 15.5. Alabama plus 5.5. Under 33.5 in Iowa, Michigan, and Louisville plus 2.5 against Florida State. That is going to be it for college pick'em. Bowl games. We'll give you guys a little taste on either Tuesday or Thursday. I haven't really decided what we're going to do for that yet. But now time for NFL. Brad, you're just going to talk about Dolphins at Commanders. Miami's favored by 9.5, over unders 49.5. Your call.
This is a super gross game. I don't think anybody should watch this. I will be though. Big news in Commanderland post Thanksgiving blowout from Dallas. We fired Jack Del Rio and our defensive backs coach. So hopefully that turns the defense around. However, they're going Ron Rivera to run the whole entire defense. Not feeling super hot about Ron coaching the defense. Don't think he's kind of into it that deep. He didn't even sound like he was changing any of his weekly routines to coach this defense. I don't think the defense gets any better. This is like a scary matchup for that defense too. They don't have anybody fast, and that team is just pure speed. They're gonna like boat race us. It's gonna be ugly. But if you want to see points, you'll see a lot of Dolphins points probably. It's the end of the Ron Rivera era here. They're coasting him out. It's good to not have Jack there. I don't think there's any of that like new coach bounce back kind of situation from it. Like these guys are trying to get draft picks. Spent the weekend looking at offensive lineman highlights in college. That's kind of like probably a better use of time.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. I mean, I don't have much to add on this. Jim, do you have anything else to add?
No, not much. I mean, it's unfortunate about the Commanders. I was pulling for them on Thanksgiving Day. But, man, it's just like, what the hell? That was like they hit a brick wall in the first quarter. You're like, the Cowboys ain't this good. Come on. But it sucks for Jack Del Rio. He's an old Jaguars coach, and I was always a fan of him. I always thought he ran a good defense. It's just kind of burned his time out there. So that's all I got to add.
He ran a good defense like 10 years ago. Promise he never changed it. Promise he never changed it. It just looks ugly.
It'll be fun to rewatch it on Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Next game, I think one of the most intriguing games. Broncos at Texans. Texans are favored by 3.5. Over unders 47.5. You got the Broncos that have won 4 straight, playing good ball. Texans lost to Jags last week, but they're at home. Kind of like the Texans in this spot here, to be honest with you. I think they're the better team. But then again, like you never know with Denver, they have been pulling out wins out of their ass just miraculously. And Russ is having a good statistical year. It's very underrated. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but that's pretty much my take. Jim?
Now I can actually root for the Texans because that was the second time the Jags played them this year, and we split 1-1 with them. I can root for them now. I can be a fan of C.J. Stroud. I've always been secretly a fan of C.J. Stroud since he
I
came
don't
into
think
the
anybody
pros.
hasn't been.
Dude, what he's doing is unbelievable. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Rookie of the Year. Give him all the fucking rookie awards. I don't care if you give him the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Whatever. The dude deserves it. I mean, he's winning. He's winning with a team that's absolutely was ass last year. And DeMarco is a hell of a coach. Maybe Coach of the Year. Maybe, I don't know. I'll throw it out.
He's up there. He's last I checked the odds. He was top 3.
Really
good
for him. Good
you
for
know,
him.
a Coach of the Year kind of goes too. They always give it to the coach that's not the best team. It's the guy that brings his team back.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. I have 2 picks on this game, so one of my picks you can kind of guess, but yeah, Brad, what do you think?
This is one of the most exciting games of the weekend. Solely the fact, if you look at playoff odds going in this game and applied odds, each team is sitting around 50% chance. This game pretty much decides their fate. If they lose, if either side loses, they're going to drop probably around 20% by the stuff I was looking at. It's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs. So this is a massive spot for both teams. We can give CJ Stroud all the flowers. He's been an absolute stud this year. Fantastic player. My only concern is he is yet to cover the spread as a favorite.
Really?
He hasn't done that this year, which is a little scary. I have a pick on this game, but he's been getting better every week. That Texas team is good. And Denver, as much as they've turned it back up, I mean, it's been against not great opponents outside of Buffalo, but we all know Buffalo's just it's cursed good bad team situation right now. Beat a Minnesota team, wasn't that good, and then they beat a Cleveland team that had to play PJ Walker.
Yeah,
agreed. Really, the only dominant one was Kansas City, and that we all know the craziness that happened with that game and people being sick and some sketchy reporting.
Yep, agreed.
So.
Agreed. Now to the game of the week, in my opinion. San Fran, the 49ers at Eagles. San Fran is favored -3, over-under is 47.5. Sure. This is for the NFC. This is truly for the NFC. This is a game that is just 2 top dogs absolutely just swinging the out of each other and just hoping something lands. The Niners defense is going to stop the run. They're going to force Jalen Hurts to throw the ball, and it's gonna be an interesting game. I think this is going to be one of the best games of the year. But Jim, your thoughts?
I like this game. It's going to be a great game. This is like an Oregon-Washington matchup. We get blessed with this. Too bad we can't get blessed with this on this is the only TV, but yet we had to still watch the Cowboys tonight. But I like the maturity in this game. If that gives my hint for my pick. Actually, I don't have a pick in this game. Sorry about that. But I don't have a pick in this game because I like the maturity in this game, and the maturity goes to the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is on a roll, leading the MVP odds. Brad, is he?
He should be. Last I checked, okay. Let's see where he's at now. But last week after the win, he was up there for MVP odds.
I think he's having an MVP season. I think Jason Kelsey is going to get his offensive line right. They're going to run the stand ball. They're going to make the Niners on ice skates. Give me the Eagles.
Brad?
Yeah, so this game, what a perfect late Sunday, cold.
Yeah.
Going to be beautiful football weather in a sense. It's now officially cold up here in the Northeast. It's quite chilly today and yesterday. It's going to be a nice, cold, battle it out game. I think the Eagles are going to take a little bit of offense to being home dogs. I think that is a shocker.
Bring the dog mask.
They are the type of team to post that up on the bulletin board every day and be like, they think we're not as good, right? They are going to be that kind of team. My concerns with them is, they've played great. They've been solid and won close games, but everything has been close. And this San Fran team doesn't, when they have everybody healthy, they don't make mistakes. They don't let teams get back into games, right? We've seen them every single week the past couple of weeks. The past 3 wins, starting with that Jacksonville win. Basically, you flipped it on in the second quarter. You're like, oh, well, I can turn this game off. No need to watch. Yeah, it's over. The San Fran team is operating at full steam, full tilt. And Philly is on extremely short rest. Their rest advantage, if you look at those kind of numbers, is awful. They have played a bunch of, they had practically an extra quarter they played with that Buffalo game.
Yep.
They've had short weekend before that. They played Dallas before that. It's been a tough 3-game set. They're going to be tired. Sanford had their bye not that long ago. They're going to be coming in this game feeling pretty good. I have a pick on this game, but this is definitely a game. I'm going to kind of miss Buck and Aikman on this one, honestly. I think that might be my biggest disappointment of the game.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. From one good game to Sunday night, yeah. Chiefs and Mahomes and the Chiefs go to the Packers. This is first ever time playing in Lambeau Field. Chiefs are favored by 6. Over-under is 42.5. And ironically, Nate, remember when we were talking about last episode how I hoped that they would flex out the Patriots Chiefs game. It did get flexed out. It's the first ever time the Monday night game has ever been flexed out, which rightfully so. We don't need to see Patrick Mahomes completely dog walk Zappy and the Patriots on Monday night when there's a better game with the Seahawks and the Eagles. But for this game, my thoughts are run the ball, and then throw it to Kelsey when he's open. Throw it to, honestly, Jordan Love, they played well against Detroit. Did they play last week? I can't remember if they did.
They did. They did. They beat Detroit. That was last week.
Oh, that was last week.
It's all screwy with
it feels like that was 2 weeks ago.
Even handicapping tonight, I realized both teams were on equal rest going into a Thursday game. It was weird.
Yeah, absolutely. They got a good win against a Lions team that beat the Chiefs. So, ipso facto, I guess if you'd be like, all right, the Packers could beat the Chiefs because they beat the Lions, ipso facto. But I think this offense is starting to hum. Last week, they got it going in the second half, which they were one of the worst teams going into it. And I think that momentum just keeps on going. And I think that this is from here on out, and we talked about it on Wednesday's pod, that the Chiefs don't play a team with a winning record the rest of the way.
No, they don't.
So they take care of business. That 1 seed's theirs for the taking, barring anything happening with us or if the Ravens went out. The Ravens still have to play the 49ers. So no, we don't play the Ravens. The Ravens play the 49ers, and that's and they play in the AFC North. There you go. I think the Chiefs probably win. But Jim,
I got a fun pick for the Chiefs. So when we do our Chiefs thing, I learned a lot because I was in Arizona.
Yeah, legal gambling.
Betting is legal. So I learned a lot on FanDuel. Had a little fun with it. Lost money, but you know what? It's the experience. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to talk about like what you just exactly said, Luke. They're going to dog walk Packers here. It's cool that Mahomes is going to play in Lambeau for the first time. It's kind of hard to believe how long he's been in the league. He's never played there.
7 years, 8 years.
The Chiefs hardly ever play the Packers, which is odd.
Yeah.
But yeah. What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, so now looking at number 1 seeds, we were just kind of discussing that before we get into it. AFC number 1 seed, it's the only one you can bet on right now. Kansas City's favored, and then the Jags, then the Dolphins, then the Ravens. So there's a lot of interesting money.
Because the Chiefs have the easiest schedule out of them all, and that's what they are banking on, is that the Chiefs win out, and the Ravens still have to play
good teams.
two more AFC North games, and they play at San Francisco.
Yeah,
so I think they play the Jags as well. Yeah. So that's where those numbers are definitely coming from. But yeah,
awesome game. Cold Lambeau. It's not like that's going to affect Kansas City that much. That they're used to playing in the cold. It's going to be exciting to see Pat Mahomes up there slinging the rock. It's going to be an awesome game. Tough for me to handicap this game. I didn't have a pick on it. If Kansas City is obviously the much better team, but this Green Bay team's been really scrappy. They've won tough games. They've won 2 in a row. They haven't looked great, but pulled out wins. Playing at home. You know how the Packers are at home. It's a tough place to play. They dominate there normally. Didn't feel comfortable kind of moving anyway on this game. I do think they're going to run, like Luke said, run the ball. I think that's how they win. They just give Pacheco the ball 20, 30 times, somewhere in that range, and they just –
they need to.
Yeah. They just roll with that. Attack Green Bay.
And to Nate's game, Monday night, Bengals at Jags. Jags -8.5. Over under 38.5. Nate, take it away.
So exciting. We're never on a primetime game. Never get a Monday night game.
It was awesome,
Can't
yeah.
say the last time we got a Monday night game. I am pumped the up. This is a great opportunity to take advantage of a brittle Bengals team with a backup quarterback with no more Joe Burrow. This actually would have been a fun game to watch.
What a
Oh, it
disappointment.
would have been a great game.
Yeah. Get to see Jags in primetime. Get to watch some of the cool ass uniforms. I hope Duval's rocking. It's just going to be exciting. You know, I hope Travis Etienne starts to pick it up a little bit. He's had a couple of rough games the last 2 games, but the defense is loaded. They are going to get after, they're going to get in Jamar's face. Is T. Higgins back yet?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
On him.
Doesn't matter. Sit the down, T. Higgins. Browning, we're going to get in your face. We're going to sack your ass. And Mixon, go back to Oklahoma, you I'm just pumped to get to see the Jags on primetime finally. I'm pumped. I'm happy about that. But we got to take care of business. Got to take care of business first.
Yep. Brad, your first pick.
First pick. Picks. My first pick is going to be in the Washington game. We're going to go Sam Howell over 39.5 attempts. I've been riding that kind of every week for us, and it keeps going over and over and over. They're going to get blown out, so they're going to throw the ball, which I totally support. They should. They found a good target in Brian Robinson out in the backfield. Even now, Sam has a check down target. They haven't gotten the ball enough to Terry and Jahan. I think that keeps rolling. They're going to probably try to get them the ball more towards the end of the year. The enemy's pretty much fighting for a job, and he needs to show that this offense is better than them out. They put up way more yards than they score from turnovers and just sloppy football. So I think Sam's going to keep throwing the rock. He's going to pass the ball like 45 times. So this line seems way low.
Hey, Brad, I need you to look up rushing yards for Pacheco, please. Jim.
My first pick, short and sweet, Dolphins money line. Dolphins I'm sorry, Brad. Commanders are not there today. Hopefully they can put up a couple of points. Dolphins money line.
I'm going to go Rams -3.5 against the Browns. The Browns are going up against the Rams defense. It's the Rams. I feel like Matthew Stafford. I think they can get it going. I don't know. I might hate this pick later while watching the game, and Myles Garrett just gets to Matthew Stafford like 8 times, and then I'll want to kill myself. But give me Rams -3.5. Brad.
Let's really hope the Rams lose because I have a future on them for under 6.5 wins. So,
Brad.
My second pick, we're gonna go to the Steelers game. We saw the Steelers Arizona. We saw the Steelers offense didn't score a lot last week, but put up well over 400 yards. They were looking a lot better. They got rid of Matt Canada. Team started looking good. The big thing I picked up from that game is they were targeting Pat Freiermuth a ton.
Which they should.
And they I think I saw a stat basically in the 4 weeks before this game, Pickett had thrown 1 pass in between the numbers, and then he threw 10 last week. They're targeting Freiermuth, and I got a good number on a Freiermuth anytime touchdown for +400 on Caesars. I feel like you could snag a touchdown. This Arizona defense isn't that good. They're not a good team, and Pittsburgh's going to start scoring at some point if they put that many yards up. So give me Freiermuth touchdown that number.
You got the line for Pacheco rushing.
Yes, he is. The line looks to be moving. It's at 66.5 right now. At most books. Okay. It's getting bet up. 67.5 in a couple.
Okay. Jim, your second pick.
My second pick, I got the Texans money line. I love CJ Stroud. I love what he's doing. I think their offense is going to click. I think their defense is going to do enough to win them this game. Money line, and I got Tank Dell at anytime touchdown.
Hit last week. I had 2 anytime touchdown hitters last week. One of them was Tank Dell.
So I think Tank Dell is a beast. Anytime touchdown on Texans at money line.
I will stick with that. I will take Texans -3.5, and I will jump on that. I will say CJ Stroud anytime touchdown.
I got Houston -3.5 as well for my third pick. We're all on the same wavelength there, which is scary because now I feel terrible about that pick. If we're all on it, but like I said, I think that Houston team, they know this is their playoff shot, and they're going to go in there and try to beat the Broncos pretty bad.
My third pick, I got the Lions money line. Lions are going to bounce back here. Lions are going to bounce back in this game. They're too good not to. They're too good not to. Jared Goff needs to pull his head out of his ass. He's holding the team back right now. They'd be undefeated if he played better. He has a better game today. Sunday.
I'm gonna take Chiefs -6 and Pacheco over 66 rushing yards. I think they're just gonna hand him the ball, and that is the way to success. That's my third pick. Chiefs -6 and Pacheco over 66 rushing yards. Brad?
All right, number 4. We're going to go that 49ers-Eagles game. Did not feel comfortable with the over-under or the spread on that one, but I did feel comfortable that San Fran's going to put up some points. So I'm taking the San Fran team total over 24.5. Been hitting that consistently. I do think this is like I won't call it a high-scoring game, but it does feel like both teams crack that 20-point barrier. And I think the 24.5 number is going to clear for San Fran. So starting going there.
Nate?
Luke, you're going to love this pick. So as I said, I played with FanDuel in Arizona, and I saw this, and I did bet $10 on Jaguars anytime touchdown on their defense.
Woo! Oh,
on their defense.
Love
it did not hit. It did not hit. But Luke, you're going to love this one. Chiefs defense. Trent McDuffie gets one and scores anytime touchdown for their defense. Give me it.
Oh, I like that. I do love
I love
that pick. I love that pick a lot because Jordan Love has been known to throw costly interceptions. Yeah. So I don't hate that. Unlike Brad, I'm not so I'm gonna take Eagles +3. I think this is you shying away from plus money home dog is very interesting to me, Brad.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Eagles +3. I think they're the better team. The Niners are a good team, and I feel like if the Eagles are going to lose, they're going to lose by one to three points. So I like the Eagles +3 right now.
My last one, my 5th pick. I'm going to watch exactly 0 minutes of this game. I'm going to take Carolina +5.5 over Tampa Bay. I have no interest in this game. My logic going into this pick is, one, they fired their coach. And there is something weird in the NFL. You fire your coach. Teams end up winning the next week. We already saw it happen once earlier this year with the Raiders. There's something about it. They have made comments this week. They're going to be redoing how they run the offense. There's going to be more RPOs, which I think will help Bryce Young. This Tampa Bay team is kind of beat up. Baker Mayfield's hurt. He'll be playing, but Big plays through everything, but he's hurt. Like, he's not going to be 100% for this game. Carolina's got to win a couple games at some point this year. They have no reason to lose. They don't have their first round pick, right? They don't have that number 1 overall. They're going to be playing their hearts out, and I think a little bit of a revamped offense, bounce back from a coach that they didn't gel with. I'll take 5.5 points. Roll with it.
Jim, your last pick.
My last pick is the homer of the day. Jaguars. I have them at, what'd you say, 8.5, right?
Yeah.
8. Yeah, I got Jaguars 8.5 money line. Right, Luke? And
okay, so you want them by the spread or want them money line?
Money line.
Okay, all right.
And I have Trevor Lawrence anytime touchdown. I got Travis Etienne anytime touchdown here because that's the same pick. I think so.
I saw some today.
Let's hear. Is he?
Better. Limited today. They're unsure. Go for it. It'll void if he doesn't play. So there you go.
Yeah. Travis Etienne, anytime touchdown. I think he gets back on track if he plays. He's, like I said, the last 2 games he's kind of been non-existent, not the same guy. So let's look for him to get back on track here.
Last pick. I'm going back to Kansas City. I'm going to put some more on here. Anytime touchdown, Kelsey.
There you go.
I think Kelsey gets it going. I think Tay Swift is supposed to be
given, bro.
I think T Swift is actually going to go to the game, so most likely he will be playing in front of a crowd. So
the better bet, see if he has 100 yards receiving, man.
Yeah,
T Swift's going to be there, bro.
Tears it up.
It's a safe bet.
All right, Brad, your picks.
All right, first pick, Sam Howell over 39.5 attempts. Second pick, Pat Freiermuth anytime touchdown +400. Third pick, we're going to Houston -3.5 over the Broncos. Fourth pick, we're going the San Fran team total over 24.5. And then the fifth pick, we're going Carolina +5.5 over the Bucks. roaster.
Jim.
I got the Dolphins money line. I got the Texans money line with Tank Dell anytime touchdown. I got the Lions money line. I have a Chiefs defensive touchdown, anytime touchdown for the Chiefs defense. I almost forgot his fucking name. McDuffie. And I got the Jaguars money line with a Travis Etienne if he plays anytime touchdown.
I've got Texans minus 3.5. Anytime touchdown. Anytime touchdown. CJ Stroud. Eagles +3. Chiefs -6. Isaiah Pacheco over 66.5 rushing yards. Travis Kelce anytime touchdown. And Rams -3.5. And those are my picks. Right. And that's our picks. And now time for everybody's favorite segment, Brad's Degen Corner.
Woo! Feeling good. We've been on a little bit of heater on Degen Corner. We had a big win the other week with Ludwig Abear winning the tournament for the RSM Classic. It was a nice big winner for me. So today, this pick will be done by the time we put this out. But we're looking at Dylan Strome, the Caps center, to get a goal tonight versus the Ducks. +220. Caps are on a road trip right now. They played LA yesterday and won back-to-back, so I didn't feel comfortable betting on the Caps. I was actually thinking about taking the Ducks onto the money line, but didn't really like the number. Don't feel, and the Caps are playing real well right now. Stromer has been really solid. He's a young guy. He's been playing on the second line a lot, but the first line's not look good. He might get some time with Ove tonight. Like him to get a goal. Keep a hot streak going. He's got 8 on the season, which is good for him. The second Degen Corner pick, we already discussed this one earlier. Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, Texas, +270 for the college football playoff. Feels like if everything goes the way we kind of talked about in the college football picks, that's what the playoff is going to be. And then the final one, sadly this week, there was not a whole lot of Degen stuff to bet on. No darts. Couldn't find anything on table tennis.
Damn it.
Soccer was a little tough. Saw some iffy lines. There's some good soccer today, but couldn't find anything that was sticking out to me too much except PGA Tour again. Go back to my bread and butter of golf. They're playing the Hero World Challenge down in the Bahamas at the Albany Golf Club. This is like Tiger's event. Tiger Woods is playing. It's very exciting. Shot a 3 over today. It's a 20-man tournament. It's basically all the top players from the last year. Always fun to watch. Kind of great to see warm weather when it's cold up here. So after today, the leaders are Brian Harmon at 5 under, Tony Finau 5 under, Jordan Spieth at 4 under, and then Cam Young, Scotty Scheffler, Colin Morikawa, and Max Homa at 3. That's your top end. Where I looked to find a little bit of edge was Jordan Spieth at +1,000 to win the tournament. Jordan played what I would call the typical Jordan Spieth round today. Jordan Spieth, if you're not a Jordan Spieth fan, he is kind of what I guess cocaine would probably be like. Golf does not make sense when you watch him play. This man had a total of 4 pars today and shot 4 under. He had 2 eagles, 2 doubles, and then a bunch of bogeys and a bunch of birds. It was a classic Jordan Spieth. Just nothing made sense. He made all the long putts. He chipped it close, but that's kind of the Jordan we know and love. So I'm just rooting for my guy. He's my favorite golfer, not named Tiger. Excited to see him pull it out. I'm excited to watch a little Tiger Woods this weekend. Looked solid today. 3 over, but it was really the last 4 holes that killed him. He was like a couple under, went bogey, double, par to finish. He didn't finish strong, but he's walking well. He's looking solid. So definitely going to you got to, it's at the point in Tiger's career. You got to tune in when he plays if you're a golf fan. You don't know how many more times you get to see him walk around. He's our great. And I relish every moment I get to watch of him still play golf. So gonna be tuning in the mornings, checking this out while I flip between football. But root for Jordan to pull out an early season win, get on the board early.
There you go, and that is Brad's Degen Corner, and that's gonna be it for this episode of the podcast. If you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you never miss any of our content. You can find us all on Gridiron Guys on all social medias. And the links will be down below. But that's going to be it. Let's have ourselves a weekend. And Nate?
They leaving.